What's going on, y'all? This is Halloween.
This is Halloween.
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 I've wanted to be this for Halloween for many years now. Popeye and olive oil. Because wouldn't that be cute? I'd be the cutest damn olive oil. But my goal here is that I want to spend less than $20 on both me and my boyfriend's costume. So, let's give it a try. I wrote out this list of things we would need. A lot of it I have already, and some of it I'm just gonna modify, and try not to damage it. So for me, as olive oil, I need a white long sleeve, red sweater, gold earrings, a black skirt, brown shoes, and white socks. My boyfriend needs brown shoes, black button down, gold buttons. I think I can make those. A gold belt. I think I can make his black belt yellow. A white hat, like a sailor hat. Then I just need some strips of yellow, red, and black because I'm going to use those as accents on the different pieces. How can I do this with $20? Go shopping in my own house. Alright. I do have a white long sleeve.
No, you don't.
It's quite narrow in here. Get out the closet. Here's the red sweater. Her sweater is closed though, that's the only thing. It has this embroidery on it. I don't know how I feel about that because that doesn't really go with the vibe. But maybe I could cover it up. Right? Because $20 ain't a lot. I do have a black skirt, but boy is it saucy. I don't know. Do I want to be a sexy olive oil or the traditional? I'll see what I can find. Also, this outfit is cute right now. This is a black shirt for Popeye. I'm gonna add stuff to the collar, I think. I already had some red and black fabric to make Popeye's collar, but I just needed some yellow to add to olive oil's skirt. So let's go outside, y'all. I went to the thrift on a hunt for all of these things. Thrifting is one of my favorite things to do, especially at this thrift store because they have great deals and this recording on the intercom of a man who clearly does not speak Spanish.
Presente la aplicación al gerente de la tienda. Muchas gracias.
And crazy finds like this.
What?
So I searched for anything with a green, blue, or yellow tag. And I found this yellow baby blanket for the stripe on the skirt, which came out to 99 cents. Then I searched through the red long sleeve shirts and found this shirt, which rang up to $1.30. The black skirts I searched through for what felt like forever, even though they had a distinct urine aroma.
Oh no!
But I found this one, which rang up to $3. For some reason, I couldn't find where the white long sleeve shirts were, so I figured this one would suffice, and it rang up to $2.29. And my grand total was $7.58, so I still had $12.42 remaining if I needed to spend that. I wasn't able to find a sailor hat though, so I got a friend to ask a friend if they had anything like this, and I was pleased to find out that they did. And my boyfriend's a socks fan, so sold. Also, I had to borrow a pair of brown boots for olive oil. By the way, if you find out you have some friends with the same shoe size as you, you should make a little group chat. That way, you can borrow shoes for a wedding, a costume, or whatever you need it for. We don't need 100 pairs of shoes per person.
No.
And I'm not one to talk, but lately I've been trying to spend a lot less on clothes and enjoy what I have. Essentials only. So this is what I was working with for olive oil. But then I remembered I bought this sweater off of somebody on the street months ago, and I just put it in a random pile and forgot about it. I'm not one to talk. Is this not so olive oil and perfect?
Yeah.
But I still wanted to make a collar like this. But some images have that and some don't, so I was gonna leave it up to my interpretation. I cut out some wavy bits around the length of the collar of my white shirt, super haphazardly, but with an unmatched creative flair only seen in events such as the Met Gala. I sewed that and everything with a basting stitch, which if you don't know, is a longer stitch that's easier to pick undone if necessary. And here, it was necessary. Because I tried it on with both the thrifted red shirt and the one I already had, and I decided I didn't like it. I think the curly neckline of this red sweater was enough to get the point across, so I seam ripped that off. And now it was time for the skirt. Her skirt has a yellow strip on it, so I'm gonna add yellow from this. I cut off a strip on the long side of the blanket, folded and cut that in half, and trimmed it to a length about 2 inches wide. I then made one long strip out of the two to span the width of the skirt. I figured it looked best about 2 inches from the skirt's hem and sewed that on with a basting stitch as well. It is just for one night after all, and I wanted to be able to either keep this or put it back into circulation. It's a perfectly fine skirt. I stitched it on the top and bottom of the yellow strip. So this is that completed.
Wow.
And Popeye's belt is also yellow. So I plan to cover my boyfriend's belt with the yellow fabric as well until he convinced me that brown would suffice just fine, even though the damn thing is yellow. Whatever, we're taking creative liberties here. So the yellow buttons. I found the 3 biggest buttons I had and decided I'd cover those with the yellow fabric too. I did this by covering the button over the top, sewing through the underside and wrapping around the little ponytail, and then using a running stitch repeatedly around the ponytail. Is that gonna stay? I don't know, but that's what I did. And then I chopped off the ponytail. This was now what real ones call a thick boy. And I did that 2 more times. Now for Popeye's collar. I had this red button down I'd use for practicing car embroidery on the front panels, but I had a whole empty back panel that was blank, so I cut that off and compared it to the length of the collar on this black shirt. I wanted the collar to be kind of chunky like a sailor collar, so I made it pretty wide and cut 2 of the same width. In my last video, I learned how to make a collar, and so I freestyled this completely. A collar usually has a long side which will flip over and the short side that attaches to the collar stand. So I cut the short sides at an angle to account for that, using the black shirt as a template for the shorter side. Then I sewed the long sides together. I also added interfacing after because I wanted it to be more sturdy. I probably should have done that initially, but oh well. Popeye's collar also has a black stripe on it, and I happen to have a ton of felt from embroidery projects and costuming, so I didn't have to spend anything on that. I cut a long strip out of that and sewed it to the red collar.
Ooh.
I clipped the new collar directly on top of the old collar and stitched it onto the black shirt. And here's how that turned out. Not bad.
And these are the pants he's gonna wear.
Now for those big back buttons. I tried sewing those on the traditional way, but blindly because I couldn't find the holes. And I struggled to get the needle all the way through without that visibility. But I did it, and those thick-ass cartoonish buttons didn't look so bad.
But I think I might come up with a better way to do this before the party, which is in
2 days?
I'm somewhat rushing on this because 1, I'm gonna rip everything apart anyway, and so I'm not gonna pay super close attention to every detail. But also, I want to have this video out before Halloween. Oh, I forgot one thing.
Olive Oil has a long sleeve white blouse, so I made some little cuffs out of felt to fake that I had a long sleeve shirt on. And here's a fun accessory surprise that my friend suggested. As we know, my girl Olive is so very in love with her mans, as you can witness in this pic. So of course I wanted a visible heart beating out of my chest. I grabbed a fat quarter I had, and please excuse the camo because it might be hard to see. But I traced out a heart shape with the fabric folded in half. Then I stitched around, leaving a small gap open. With duckbill scissors, I cut all the way around one side of the heart, and stuffed it with some tiny scraps I had nothing to do with. Lou thought this part was pretty fun. Then I stitched the heart closed and used my hands to shape the heart how I wanted it. I couldn't figure out how exactly to attach it to the sweater though, so I did the unthinkable. I'm crazy for this one. I put the sweater on with the heart underneath, and I went to town hand sewing, piercing through the bottom and pricking myself,
Ouch.
then wrapping it around and stitching through the top of the heart. Then I carefully did a basting stitch all the way around. But I still wasn't satisfied because it kind of just looked like a vague lump.
Did somebody say vague lump?
My solution was to wrap it with one of those flat ponytail holders so it would jut out a little bit. Is that cute or what?
Oh, also, what is Popeye without his corncob pipe? I still have 1242 remaining, but I don't want to spend money on something that I'm just going to use once, so I just made one.
I grabbed some paper from the recycling, a little box, a toilet paper roll, and a box that used to hold Corona. Also, scissors, an X-Acto knife, and tape. First, I cut the toilet paper roll down to a height that made sense, and cut a little hole towards the bottom on the side. I tore open the little box and wrapped a piece around a pin, and taped that into a roll. I widened the hole in the toilet paper roll and stuck that piece in, taping it around all sides and snipping where the tape didn't fold down. Lou watched intently, as he has always been interested in my hobby since he was just a baby. And for the mouthpiece, I folded another piece from the little box a little narrower than the tube I'd just made. After taping that down, I stuck that into the tube and taped everything. I also bent the end down. But I didn't want this thing to be hollow, so I used a little bit of cardboard from the Corona box and drew out a circle to stick on the end. I taped that down. To give it some integrity, I stuffed the inside of the bowl with more fabric scraps. Then I cut another circle to stick into the top. And I taped everything all over the place to make sure I had a consistent canvas to paint on. I experimented with different yellows and browns and decided on using a bright orangey yellow for the mouthpiece. For the corncob part, I mixed a medium yellow with a light yellowish tan. So I did one coat, let it dry, and then did one more coat. Then I drew some lines on the outside to make it look like corn. And added some little diamonds in between to make it look more corn-like. I don't know if that was necessary, but it still looks good. And I added black for a connector and a fun little surprise inside. It's spinach.
I considered grabbing a can of spinach and making it look like the cartoon, but I don't want to make him carry around spinach all night. That, plus I don't anticipate my boyfriend needing superhuman strength at any point at a Halloween party.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Are y'all ready for the reveal?
Prepare for my baby being a ham. Say hello to Miss Olive Oil in the flesh. I'ma be honest, I don't know about the execution of this heart, but it's fine. At least I get it. And a drum roll, please, for Popeye the Sailor Man. Y'all, this man acts like he's so camera shy, but he really is such a ham. Look, I'm telling him to dance. Watch. He's such a good sport. Look at him. So that was a lot of fun, but I'm sick. So now I'm just gonna miss the party, chill indoors, and read The Watchmen. The party's tomorrow, and Halloween isn't until next Friday, so maybe I'll be able to wear it out at some point. But as for the party I was preparing for, I'm not gonna go to that. I'm just gonna hang out with Lou. Fun fact, and also really sad fact, Lou can be really aggressive towards me at times. But I think he knows I'm sick right now, so he's being kind. I didn't really learn anything this time except for I'm really good at coming up with stuff on the fly. I did learn though that you can spend less than $10. Remember the original challenge was $20? You can spend less than $10 if you're a crafty person and throw something together that looks pretty nice.
Bonk.
Ow! Doing things on the cheap is the name of the game, baby, and resourcefulness is a very undervalued skill. Anywho, if you enjoyed this, please don't forget to subscribe, and also, welcome to all you new subscribers. I'm glad you're here, I love y'all's comments, y'all are the kindest people ever, and I really appreciate it. I'm still trying to make it to 1,000 before the end of the year, so if you want to share this with somebody, that would be so awesome. Me and Lou are just going to be sitting here holding it down for the weekend. Holding on for dear life. My throat hurts. And I gotta figure out how to entertain myself without moving too much. So, I hope y'all have a happy Halloween. And, as always, thanks for watching. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe.